All right, guys. No injuries from the game. Everybody checked out good today. Guys, just some updates on guys who missed the game. Devo, his ankle and knee is making real good progress, still working his way back. Kerry Hyder with his ankle sprain, we should get him back in practice this week. Garoppolo got his cast off, but no further update. And Elijah Mitchell's making real good progress. He's getting much closer to returning too. So, go ahead, guys.
And in regards to Devo making good progress, are you still planning to have him back at practice maybe the following week or this week?
I think we'll see how it goes in these next 2 days with rehab. I think there's a chance possibly later in the week. We'll see, though.
How did Javon Kinlaw come out? Did he have any swelling at all, or did he seem pretty healthy as he came out of the game?
No, he checked out great yesterday and today. I think he ended up getting 16 total plays. I'm not exactly sure, close to that. But it was a successful game, and even more successful since he looked good today.
And how did he look out there after you watched the film?
I thought he did a good job. I think the more he plays, the more we'll be able to keep him out there longer and stuff. But, that 4th and 1 down on the goal line, I thought he made a real big play there, taking on the double team, taking 2 blockers, allowing Fred and Ty to make that play. So really helped out, was stout in the run game, and it was a good first step.
Hey, Kyle, I know you said that the reason Drake was inactive was because you wanted to keep more interior defensive linemen, but you kind of get the sense that he's kind of hit a rookie lull. Does he need to kind of learn how to be a pro at this point, or is all good on that aspect?
No, it was no difference in that. This wasn't at all to punish him. This was completely with the 5 inside D linemen. I want everyone to keep getting better and better each week. There's no doubt about that, but there was nothing that was worse in this week compared to any other week that made us make that decision. This was strictly, we usually go with 5 on the edge and 4 inside guys up, and we thought it was important to do this game differently, us anticipating how much they were going to try to run the ball.
And Kyle, when you're watching the run defense, do you gain a bigger appreciation for it on film, or when you're watching it from the sidelines? And then just what do you see the reason for the success being?
I think both. You can feel it on the field. I think you get the more appreciation when you watch the tape, because it's in the run game. It takes too long to watch everybody and how they lead up to making a play. You can see the guys at the point of impact and everything, but what allows that guy to get there? What allows him to show up at the edge of a play? It's all the penetration before that and things like that. So always enjoy it more on the tape, but I think it's a combination of things. Our D-line definitely penetrates, which in the run game, when you have penetration in the backfield for anywhere I've ever been, that affects running backs the most when they got to stop and start with their feet. I also think, but when you do that, it leaves some vulnerability to your linebackers, just because always penetrating and stuff, which that's similar to playing pass first and run second, that can keep those guys in some hard positions. They got to really play off those guys. And as hard as our guys penetrate, I think we got 3 linebackers off the ball who can adjust to how those guys play as good as anyone. When they're in the different gap, our guys just slide to the right or left and fall back and play off of them. And when Jimmy's in there, he does the same thing in nickel. When Huff's down there or Gift, they do the same thing as safety. So you just got so many levels of the defense with guys playing physical. And when everyone does make a mistake, just by being so physical, there's a whole other line of defense there. And I also think a lot of teams haven't been able to stick with it, which means we do good on 3rd down, which means we get them off the field. If you don't have it explosive and you get guys off the field, it's hard to run the ball well. And yesterday they stuck with it, but our guys didn't allow any big ones and did a hell of a job on 3rd down.
You mentioned Elijah Mitchell making real good progress. And is there any chance that his window could be open this week or next before the regular season ends?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, there's a chance. I don't think this week. I think the earliest is possibly Friday, maybe. I think that's what they told me. And he's healing up. He's had no setbacks. He's doing well. So we'll see if he's available next week for us.
A question about 2 kind of unsung guys. What are your impressions of T.Y. McGill on the last 2 plays of that goal line stand in the second quarter? And then
Also, Willie Snead's only snap, was he in there just randomly, or did you want him to be the guy to make that seal block?
Stupendous, stellar. It was as fun to watch the 49ers at that time as it has been at any point over the last.
Guys, please get your line. We got to start the call over. That guy's aggressive. T.Y. played awesome. He's had a few good games for us here in the last month. But he was in the backfield a ton. Those two plays you speak of, the third and goal, he's the one who had the penetration that made the back bounce, that allowed him to get all the way to the edge, that allowed Greenlaw to recover to officially stop him. And then on the fourth down was when Kinlaw took the guard and the tackle. The center and the backside guard, and T.Y. stunned and took him and allowed Fred to just meet the back right there in the B gap, which was huge. So those guys were great. Willie, we'd put in on any play like that. He is automatic on those type of blocks. But Juwan's pretty good at that also. But Juwan had just ran a deep post the play before it. So he was about 50 yards down the field. And so Hank made the sub, and we had Willie going in that instance behind him. We always rotate Willie or Ray. But Ray was the one getting the ball, so Willie had to block and did a hell of a job on it.
Then also, Kyle, you have just one IR move left. Is that right? And if I have that correct, will that come down to potentially a choice between Mitchell and Garoppolo?
No, we never put Jimmy on IR, so we're good with that. That was the hard thing with Ridgeway. So it would probably come down to Ridge and Elijah. And Elijah's, just from a health standpoint, is a lot further along than him. So that's odds are where we're going to go.
Kyle, what was the thinking early in the season to use one of those spots on Curtis Robinson?
Where we were on special teams at the time, and how big of a player we thought he could be for us in special teams. And so we were excited to get him back and do that. Hindsight's 20/20, obviously. Nothing against him on that, but those are the risks you take when you're trying to get guys back and trying to have guys up. We had a number of guys down at one time. So we put a number of guys on IR so we could fill the roster, and those are the gambles you got to take, and you end up becoming one short on it at the end of the year.
And do you expect him to be practice squad?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I think we're trying to do that as we speak.
So would you be in favor of
Sorry, you went out. In favor of what?
an additional return spot from IR for a team that makes the playoff?
Oh, yes, definitely. That's also you don't know how long it's going to last, and sometimes you need all those spots. In the NFL, every single game matters. And then all of a sudden you can get 3 to 4 more games added at the end of the year, and that's a long time. So, when we looked into the Ridgeway stuff, the odds were we wouldn't be able to have them till possibly a championship, possibly a Super Bowl type game. So that's why we ended up having to go with that. But yeah, it'd be great to get some of those guys back, because you add 5 games to a season. That's a huge difference, or 4 games.
Okay, a couple more.
Kyle, forgive me if you've answered this already, but how's Jordan Mason doing with his hamstring?
I think he's doing great. He was in here the last 2 days, so he had no setbacks from the game. His knee was just a scare. He's actually sick today, so we'll let him out today for being sick. But his hamstring ended up being good.
And Kyle, how did Ty Davis Price look for film?
Who was that? Ty Davis? I thought he had a good game. He had a good game. I think it was the 2nd and 4 that he'd like to have back. That ended up leading to that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1 we didn't get. But then watching the film, the linebacker had his hands inside on the ball, and if he would have fought for another yard, it would have ended up being a fumble. So it was a smart decision for him to roll with the ball. Didn't make any mistakes in the game, and I was happy for him that he could get out there, get his feet wet again, back in the game, and get some carries. And because there's a great chance we'll need him here going forward.
Kyle, how's Purdy feeling today?
How would you evaluate how Jake Brendel has played this season?
I think Jake's played real well. We were real happy with him last year, just watching him throughout practice and everything. Alex stayed healthy all last year, so he didn't get much game experience. But we went into this year with him as our guy. And you never know until they get out there, and he's been able to make it through this whole year. He's been able to stay healthy. He's been done a great job with the calls and stuff, getting us in the right protection schemes and blocking schemes. And he's been able to make some plays too. He's helped us in both the run and pass game, and I've been real excited with him as one of the leaders here on our team too.
Okay, one more.
I circle back to that. Yeah, I just want to circle back on how Brock Purdy's feeling and just what your review of the film showed.
Brock played well, real well. He was smart with the ball. There was a couple situations that were tight, where there was an unblocked player, and the play was almost there. And I thought he just did a great job not doing anything stupid in some tough situations. Also, he's shown that he's willing to let it rip at all times. And there was a couple times in the game that they got an unblocked guy right to him, and he made a couple of great decisions just to take the sack. So I was real impressed with how Brock played. Just talking to him here the last 2 days, he got out healthy again, and I think that should continue healing up, and I think he should be even a little better this week with more health.
Kyle, I know you.
One more.
I know you're in the moment with Brock, but it's kind of easy to look ahead too. Have you thought at all about how you plan to work that quarterback situation with as well as he's playing, like after this season's over?
No, I don't even know what year it is after the season's over. So I'm trying to think about how to get him ready for Wednesday, man. So it's a great question, but honestly, I don't look ahead like that. So we got a number of big games in front of us.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thanks. See you guys Wednesday.